Howdy, Outcast here. So, Major 2 just finished yesterday. I'm recording this on Monday, March 30th, 2026, and FaZe beat Optic in the grand finals. Congratulations to them. Now, we are looking forward to Atlanta, Major 3. If we could finally work on this map pool, right, guys? Right, guys? I honestly hope that will happen, but I don't have much faith in it, to be honest. I am hoping for a bunch of stuff with regards to these pros. I think that the game is in a pretty terrible state with regards to a bunch of things, and I'm here to throw out some solutions. In my eyes, I have a couple opinions with regards to the gentleman's agreements. Now, if you don't know much about gentleman's agreements in Call of Duty, basically, pros back in the day came up with the idea that the devs are too stupid and basically uninformed to actually fix their game. So the pros have to do that for them by not allowing specific things, basically just guardrailing players into playing a specific game that will be professionally aligned. Although I think these are good ideas, I think that without proper checks and balances, this has gotten out of hand. It's gotten ridiculous. I mean, in the past couple of years, it has gotten insane. We have GA'd some ridiculous things. Now, I honestly think that this idea was really good when people like Accuracy Slasher Octane led the charge with regards to this. The league also is a huge problem. I would like to make that known. I do not think the pros are the only people that are at fault here, but I think that the fact that we are basically looking at the devs or the pros, like we are villainizing the wrong people. I feel like a lot of people arguing in the COD league, and I will not name names, but certain pros basically just argue to be right and shut down the other person's opinion rather than hearing a perspective and potentially opening their mind. Like, if you say to a pro, hey, I don't think GAs are a good thing, they will say, well, we wouldn't need GAs if the devs would fix their game, which is true, but it doesn't solve the issue. And we would rather point out different issues than solve the grander issues with regards to making the game fun again. I think the pros need to create a committee due to their inability to be unbiased towards issues. Now, every pro says that they are unbiased, but the fact that the map says the way it is, all of the issues that I have lined up here are set up the way that they are, it is clear that they have bias and they cannot be trusted. So we need to take that away from them. So I would like to pitch a couple of ideas revolving around these specific topics. So step one is the GA chat. And in my opinion, this gotta go. This is such a foreign concept. We need actual checks and balances if we would like to take this league seriously. Everybody thinks it is fine, but the fact that it is basically behind closed doors, we have no clue what happens, is ridiculous. We personally need to get rid of the players being in charge of this. If you don't know how the GA chat works, basically there are 48 players, 12 teams, so 4 players on each team. One player is designated as like the player rep that goes into a chat, very similar to the Players Association in the NFL. Now, if this were ran by the league, great, but it's not. So what we need to do is we need to take it into our own hands. If COD is going to die, and we don't think that the organization is doing good, we need to take this into our hands. We do not need the CDL to be approving these things. We need to just do them. So we need a committee of 9 former CDL players. 7, 9, does not matter. Let's just get an odd number. The votes are majority rules. Now, in my opinion, I was going to put a couple of notable people up here. I was going to put Karma, I was going to put Looney, and I was going to put Sender, who all formerly are pro players, but they intrinsically have bias based on what their team, like the fact that they are coaching teams. So I personally think get them gone. So in my opinion, these 9 players I think should be nominated. These are my personal nominations. You can throw out a couple of other players, but I think if you have the potential to be biased and you are not good at swaying your opinion, articulating an argument, like, I think you just should not be a part of this. I want 9 people with level heads. And although some of these people you might say don't have level heads, a lot of people looking at aches, you could throw this out for anybody. You take out anybody and you could add anybody. We just need a odd number of people, hopefully between that 7 and 11 range. And we want there to be checks and balances with regards to passing issues. The fact that there used to be old man 8s and they basically created good GAs in MW3, but the pros didn't listen and then they got discouraged and just didn't want to do it anymore is saddening. So I will throw out Merc, Octane, Slasher, Accuracy, Study, Nameless, Apathy, Slacked, and Aches. Again, take out any player, add any player. But it needs to be approved, and these former CDL, like COD players, they are in charge. They are the checks and balances. Now, step 2, I would like to talk about. is the map pool issue. So right here currently, if you cannot tell by the statistics on my screen, these are the maps that were picked at Major 2. And I was laughing with a bunch of people online. If you are trying to watch the CDL matches with me, twitch.tv/OutcastCOD, a little bit of self-promo. Personally, me, I think that this is an issue. This is a giant issue. When I talk about the Den exposure, the fact that these were the only 2 maps basically being played in Hardpoint is sickening to me. I have the percentages for the percentage played. I also wanted to do the percentage picked because I feel like a lot of people would look at certain statistics and basically say, well, that doesn't matter because Blackheart would have gotten played or Colossus wouldn't got played, but it was picked as a map 4 and it was a 3-0. So I'm getting rid of that bias here. Blackheart did not get played at all. Colossus got played twice. And the only reason it got played is because G2 picked it twice. And Optic had to pick it in finals. Blackheart did not get played a single time. We need to get rid of these maps. The fact that we are not getting rid of these maps and the fact that these are not competitively viable is ridiculous to me. Now, Den got picked 12 times. It got played 12 times. That is ridiculous to me. The fact that we are only playing the only 2 competitive maps technically based on these statistics are Exposure and Den. That is ridiculous. So, Scar got picked 8 times. It got played 4 times. It got played 16% of the time. Half the time you saw Den HP. That is insane to me. Colossus got picked only 4 times as an S&D. There's actually a decent spread with regards to the search pool. I would say the most apparent issue in my eyes is obviously Colossus S&D. I feel like statistics can only tell you so much. You have to use the eye test as well. But personally for me, Scar needs to go. I think Colossus needs to go. I think Exposure needs to go. And I think these 2 are fine. But with the statistics of Den, just the fact that it's getting picked, obviously more than Colossus, but like these 3 are pretty good, like statistically. So I would say Colossus definitely needs to go. Den might need to go. And in my very much opinion, based on the eye test, Scar needs to go. Raid and Exposure are fine, but if I could get rid of one of them, I would get rid of Exposure. S&D is not fun in this game. These maps are bad. We need to get rid of them. Okay, so I was talking with Hado, who is somebody who I watch party with. Hado BTW on Twitch. He is a good guy. That is my plug for him. But he thinks Scar Overload is a good map. The fact that it only got picked in grand finals and was banned or not picked every other time, nobody wanted to play it. We need to get rid of this map. Why are we saying this is a good map? We played Exposure Overload 70% of the time. Teams did not want to play Den. They wanted to play Exposure every time. We watched a ton of Exposure this weekend. And FaZe picked this once. Optic picked it twice. And they banned it versus Thieves. So, like, it was clearly like they had the pick. They wanted to play Den. Scar was banned. It was either Den or Exposure choice. Scar was only picked in the grand finals. I just think, in general, this map pool was a complete disaster. Now, I have opinions on the map pool, of course. Now, these are the maps we need to test in my eyes. A lot of people are throwing out Gridlock as well. A lot of people are throwing out Plaza. We need to test these as well. We need to. Like Yemen too. Any map that you could think of that is competitively viable, we need to test. And here is why, in my opinion. My belief is that more maps are better. Here's my reason for why I think having a 10-10-5 HP S&D overload map pool is a good idea. We need as many competitively viable like maps as possible, and I'll get into it, but we need as many competitively viable weapons as possible. I have a bunch of reasons why. One argument that I would like to counter is the argument of Scrap, which I respect his opinion. To be honest, I do. He has the opinion of basically, if we added a ton of maps to the map pool, we would be able to scrim one set in like 8 hours. I understand that. That's fair. But I would like to throw out the idea of that is the way currently that we approach practice. I think that we are not optimally practicing, in my eyes at least. I think that we could spread up a week and we could do a bunch of these maps very similar to CSGO, where they're practicing multiple different maps and multiple different ideas on maps. We could have a map pool of Sake, Fringe, Toshin, Raid, Utopia, Slums, Meltdown, Gridlock, Yemen, Blackheart, Colossus, Den, Exposure, Scar. Number 1 is kind of my best example for this. I want to counter this point with all these examples. So number 1 is more maps equals more value to coaches that put in time and prepare strategies. In my opinion, that is a huge knowledge gap. I think knowledge gap in COD should be a thing. The fact that COD is one of the most brain-dead esports, and the fact of you just run forward and you die, comparatively to one of my favorite things to watch is Cadril, who does League of Legends. He does the esports and he does watch parties. And during the draft, he has a pen out and he is going deep over the idea, basically like this is a good pick because this counters this, and then this is the timing of this pick. And I love that concept. We need to allow there to be more mental gap in these games because we need to align basically to the idea of like craftiness versus raw skill. Like there are players who have like had raw talent and raw skill in the NBA, but they diminish out because they don't have that mental aspect. There are players that have been really smart, but just are not able to grow. One of my favorite examples is Isaiah Thomas. When they're able to meet both metrics, those are the GOATs. Why do we not look at that anymore? Teams don't need to scrim every map multiple times per day. This would benefit teams with different approaches / mindsets about scrim blocks and increasing efficiency in practice. Slasher just retired, and he said that his scrim culture was basically get on, fuck around, play the games, get off, maybe watch some VOD. I hate that. Let's add more meaning to practice. Practice is what makes you better, and if we're having shit practice, we're not going to get better. Diversity in map pool could increase intrigue from a more casual audience, as much of them feel alienated to the competitive rules and map sets. So I am pretty in tune with the casual scene with regards to COD. One of my favorite like YouTubers in the scene that recently quit COD, a lot of them have been quitting COD, which is very saddening to me, is King Roberts, and his entire fan base have basically said, I don't care about competitive COD because they're not even playing the same game. None of my favorite maps are in there. None of the guns I use are in there. And nothing about it is the same. Now, I don't think we need to be playing Newtown Hardpoint, but let's meet in the middle and we could put in a bunch more maps and allow for like, oh my god, I love this map. Everybody really liked the idea of Toshin at the beginning of the game because it was like this futuristic Tokyo. People liked it. Why not put that in the competitive set and try our best to make it work? I think it plays really well with the mid-map input of the train, but that's my opinion, of course. But, anything to meet in the middle here is good. It would allow for more of a chess match regarding picks and vetoes, which I think should be done live on stage before matches. I very much think so. I think if a team picks like Colossus versus like G2, that should be like a big moment on stage. That is kind of cool to me. I think that would be hilarious, and I think that would be awesome. And I think that that would basically give more like eyes to coaching, what goes on behind the scenes, inviting people to get better at the esports. So in my opinion, that is how I fix the map pool. Now, weapons in COD. I personally believe that COD comp was best in BO3 with ban and protect. People have said in the past there is a way to add ban and protect with regards to like rules and like a rule set. I think JP talked about it once. He's a big fan of ban and protect as well. So is Octane, bunch of advocates. But basically what I would do is, since we don't have that, let's allow weapons to be usable unless they are completely and utterly busted. And in my eyes, in the past years, these are the only weapons that I believe deserved GAs. This year, I would say the M8, but that is debatable. I think that it can be used. I think the fact that it one bursted at times is pretty crazy. Obviously, like, that's the whole point, is the players GA the gun because the devs will not nerf it. So if they won't nerf it, I think the M8 is GA-able, but it's 50-50. No other guns, in my opinion, in BO7 should be GA'd. In BO6, I think the AS Val, because it had a suppressor, and the Craig C, because it killed in 3 bullets, which is pretty insane, especially at the range, I will say. But at the same time, there were a bunch of different guns that killed at 3 bullets. There were a bunch. MW3, I don't think a single thing should have got GA'd. I think that game was very balanced competitively. MW2, I think the Kastov 74U, the gun that killed in 2 bullets at multiple ranges, the SMG/AR, was disgusting. Get rid of that. In Cold War, Vanguard, and MW19, nothing I think should have been GA'd, especially the Volk. I think the Volk should not have been touched. Anyways, every other weapon in my eyes got unrightfully GA'd. Last year, casuals could pull out the compact or the KSV for more variety. This year, you are child-locked to 2-3 weapons. We took the casual community and we got rid of their favorite weapons in game mode where you can progress and potentially learn the game mode of competitive. And we babied them into saying, nope, you can't do that. Shut up, buddy. You're doing this. Using other weapons shouldn't be cheese. Every weapon has pros and cons. I honestly like the Raiden a ton in this game. And I personally think like Raiden main SFG Dravix flex M15 as like the AR, and then like have like a MXR, like that slower shooting one, as like a main AR staple would be a fantastic meta. I mean, just allow for different playstyles to be flourished. I think that's fantastic. I love the Raiden because it has increased fire rate and TTK, but it struggles in that medium range capabilities and has bad recoil management. So if you're going to pull out the Raiden, you have to get to spots where the Raiden is good. If you are trying to kill with the Raiden at a M15 or at a Dravik damage range, you're going to get shit on. Optimally utilizing these weapons should be a skill, and we should see it that way. The fact that we have bullied Envoy for using the Uzi, using the MP7 variant in MW2, he has been notable for using a bunch of different guns. And they just GA it right away. Is ridiculous. Why is that a thing? Let's get on to breaking GAs. Now, this might be controversial. Everyone complains when pros break GAs, but who really is held accountable if a team were to break them? In my eyes, I think the organization should be held responsible. If a team breaks GAs, find the owner of the team. Like if Optic breaks GAs, fine Hex. And Hex will have a big talk about breaking GAs and how that is stupid. Or if he's a player's person, he will say, I don't care if my team breaks GAs in order to win a championship. And then we could talk about what GAs should matter and shouldn't matter and at what rate. And that is dictated, again, by the triangle of the committees, the GA chat, the CDL, and the GA committee, which I instilled. Team owners other than Hex, Nadeshot, and other notable figures are seen as private investors who aren't active in operations. When was the last time we have heard who owns the Boston Breach or the new Cloud9 team or G2? And when have they tweeted about their matches or cared? This is, in their eyes, a private investment that they are sitting on and they are waiting for it to grow, and then they want to sell it and make money. If we want that to change, we should hold them accountable for how people represent their organization. That way, if somebody is breaking GAs a shit ton, we don't want that person a part of our org. We should see it as a bad thing. If somebody is snaking relentlessly and they don't care, we either lean into it or we say, we don't want this player representing us, get rid of them. Some other fixes I would fix. Grand finals. A lot of people are talking about the fact that losers has a big advantage coming from the losers bracket into a grand finals because they come in hot. They basically play 3 straight series. I agree with that. Get rid of the best of 7 or best of 9 format and do 2 best of 5s with a bracket reset. I think that is the only way to do it. Rocket League does it. Other esports do it, and it's incredibly successful. Let's get rid of GMs and let's allow teams to be player ran again. I think that would help a ton. Let's have pre-match interviews to incentivize drama and create rivalries. Do you know how great it would be if after the vetoes of the picks and bans, Scrap and Drowza were on stage, or Scrap and Super were on stage, and they were shit talking? That would be fantastic. Let's implement a promotion and demotion system for challengers. I personally think we should be a 16-team league. Expansion is necessary, but having that improvement to challengers would very much incentivize the Bush to finish #1 at champs for challengers, and then they could get into the league, and then the 12th team demotes. Even if it's one team getting swapped, but I think personally it should be 2. Let's allow KBM to be in COD again. If we think controller is so much easier, let KBM be a thing. Why not? Let him play at a disadvantage. Let's allow for the improvement of accessibility in COD. And finally, this is like a weird take, but I personally think cheating should be treated similarly to doing steroids in pro sports with regards to that, as it is like an enhancement. It's money on the line, and I think cheating is just in general like something that we should see as more of a crime with regards to stealing money, if that is something that we are interested in. But yeah, if you liked any of these ideas, share this with a pro player or a former pro player that might be interested in this video. Leave a like, subscribe. Let's get this on as many people's radars as we can. I think a lot of these fixes could change the league. And if you don't like it, send it to them and have them roast me. Seriously. Like, more conversation on this topic will fix the league as a whole. Thank you very much. It's been Outcast. Take it easy. Adios.